Om Ayahi Varade Devi Traksare Brahmavadini Gayatri Chandasang Mata Brahmajani Namastate. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrittor Ma Amritangamaya Aviravir Maedi Rudra Yatte Dakkinamukham Te Namang Pahinityam Te Namang Pahinityam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Divine Mother of the Universe, reveal Thyself in our hearts and in our midst. We invoke Thy presence amidst us. Thou art the sacred words of the Scriptures. Thou art the embodiment of knowledge and liberation. Thou art the supreme bridge to immortality. Lead us from unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death, disease and suffering to immortality. Manifest Thyself in us through and through, and protect us with Thy compassionate face. Om, peace, peace be unto us, peace be unto all living beings. This morning I intend to speak on the subject pilgrimage and holy company. Do they help? Or the essential pilgrimage and holy company? Well, pilgrimage and holy company are extolled for spiritual inspiration and self-purification. Scriptures, traditions emphasize them as vital prerequisites for spiritual enlightenment. In some traditions, visits to holy places of pilgrimage and company are mandatory. Now, what is the meaning of pilgrimage? Pilgrimage consists of visiting holy places where a great prophet or a saint was born or lived, visiting temples or sanctuaries where the Spirit of God is considered most manifest, taking a ceremonial dip in the waters of a holy river, looked upon as sacred, and visiting holy mountains or mountain caves where prophets and saints had practiced spiritual austerities for generation to generation. Each religion has designated places of pilgrimage where seekers of God go to perform ceremonial worship, fasting, chanting of sacred texts, contemplation and meditation and prayer. It is believed that a visit to a holy place awakens and purifies a pilgrim's mind. Faith traditions believe that there is a presiding spirit in each such holy place that out of compassion removes the doubts from a pilgrim's mind and frees the pilgrim from all sins and imperfections. The holy company, with holy persons regarded as indispensable for a seeker of God. Faith in God is difficult to achieve. God's existence cannot be proved by reason or disproved by reason. Scriptures fail to describe the nature of God. Philosophy is mere speculation about God. Those who know God fall into silence. Unless one meets and associates with knowers of God, one cannot have real faith in God and God's divine grace. The Bhagavad Gita states that association with an illumined soul is one of the means to attain devotion and knowledge. Knowers of God are regarded as moving temples because they carry the Lord in their heart. Therefore, worship of these great souls pleases the Lord. Just as the sun dispels the eternal darkness, the company of knowers of God dispels the darkness of the mind and illumines the soul. The question that often troubles the mind of a spiritual seeker are the following. Do pilgrimage or holy company really bring spiritual awakening and devotion? Is pilgrimage just physically visiting a holy temple or a holy mountain or a holy river? Do mechanical observance of rituals and ceremonies generate spiritual longing and intensely and knowledge and devotion? What does holy company really mean? Is it merely meeting and conversing with a holy person? Holy places are either the birthplaces of prophets and saints, where they lived or practiced spiritual disciplines. It is not the waters or the idols of a place, or its temples or sanctuaries, architecture and natural scenery that makes the place holy. Things that make a place holy are the deposits of holy vibrations left by prophets and saints who lived there or visited that place, and the spiritual memories and history associated with this place. Pilgrimage has two aspects. The external place of the pilgrimage and the internal place envisioned by the pilgrim. Let us say Varanasi, Benares. It's a great seat of pilgrimage for Hindus. It is not the geographical city of Varanasi, which 99.999% believe, the city. But it is the golden Varanasi, illumined by the presence of the Lord and the holiness of prophets and saints. It is not the geographical city you go there and believe that they who die in Benares, they attain forthwith liberation. First, the person does not want liberation. He went there to collect some blessings to make his earthly life better. And it is said also, and I know also, those who went, retired, lived in Benares, but for some reason visited Calcutta again, and there he died. In the end, it did not happen. So God is not that fool that you go there. Let us say Sri Ramakrishna's vision in Benares, in the Manikarnika, where corpses are being cremated. Now Sri Ramakrishna saw Lord Shiva is untying their bonds, one side, another side Mother Kali, and giving him Tarak Brahmanam, sending to the abode of bliss. Now, do people see these things or even believe? That is in golden Varanasi. There is another Varanasi inside this geographical city. Unless you think of it, see it, feel it, your visit is like a tourist's visit. That's all. Visiting that golden Varanasi is more internal than external. Visiting the Dakshineshwar temple, Calcutta, is more than a visit to the geographical site where the temple is situated. It is internally visiting the golden Dakshineshwar, where Sri Ramakrishna lived, practiced great spiritual austerities and communed with God, and feeling His eternal presence there. There is a saying, even now, Gora, in the name of Sri Chaitanya, moves around in that place. Some fortunate souls see that. Not all. Making a pilgrimage to Vrindavan is not just visiting the city of Vrindavan, but mentally visiting and communing with the spiritual Vrindavan, illumined by holy memories of the life and the teachings of Sri Krishna. I have seen people go there, this temple, this temple, this temple. They feel they are done. It may be the same place, same meadow, same river, but do you feel the presence of Sri Krishna? Do you feel He is still moving around in that place? If you cannot do that, no use going. Go to New Jersey or Westchester. This is. If a person makes a pilgrimage to any such place without any previous knowledge of the sacredness of the place, or fails to commune with the thoughts and vibrations of holy places, he derives no spiritual inspiration. That is the reason why many people are not benefited by pilgrimage, because holy associations are not awakened in them. Under what conditions a pilgrimage becomes spiritually rewarding? It is believed that the Lord of the incarnation of God leaves a part of His being in the places where He lives, or to inspire seekers and draw them to Him, that He is present in those places, and fortunate souls perceive His presence. Pilgrimage to a holy place becomes spiritually rewarding when the pilgrim is able to transport himself to the historical time of the prophets and saints, and inspired by the spiritual longing, is able to reflect upon or commune with their lives and actions, and witness to the eye of devotion the events that happened in those places, and bathe himself in the holy memories associated with those places. That's an internal thing. Devoid of spiritual longing and devotion, a mere visit to a holy place does not make a pilgrimage. As Sri Ramakrishna says, pilgrimage without love and devotion to God carry no reward. With devotion, with your heart, it is not absolutely necessary that you must visit holy places. As cow after eating their fill of fodder lie quietly down at a place and chew the cud, so after visiting a holy spot or place of pilgrimage, you must take hold of the holy thoughts that rise in the mind there. Sit down in a solitary spot, think of them till you become immersed in them. You must not let them slip off from your mind as soon as you return away from those places and attach yourself to sense pursuits. In that case, divine thoughts bring no lasting effect on the mind. The most essential pilgrimage is the pilgrimage to the inner shrine of one's own heart. One who does not make this pilgrimage in his daily life, for that person there is no shrine outside anywhere in a mountain or river. Ordinary waters taking a dip does not cleanse us. Shankaracharya in his Atma-bodha says, that shrine of the heart, where God is ever present. If you do not visit that shrine, once in a while go and take your bag, camera, tape recorder, and notebook does not make a pilgrimage. Better call it a tour. He wrote, right, he who renouncing all activities worships in the sacred stainless shrine of Atman, which is independent of time, place and distance, which is present everywhere, which is the destroyer of heat and cold and other opposites, and which is the giver of eternal happiness, becomes all-knowing and all-pervading and attains hereafter. In the note, say the word shrine in this text means the holy place of pilgrimage. The allusion is to the pilgrimage of pious devotees to a holy place. There are certain disadvantages associated with the holy places, as they may be situated at a great distance. Pilgrimage may entail physical labor and suffering. The merit of pilgrimage may be slight because of the inauspiciousness of the time, improper time. The comfort of the pilgrim may be disturbed by the weather. Robbers, thieves, and unscrupulous priests often give them trouble. In every place of pilgrimage there is. Thieves are there. They make a living. Your shoes may be lost. You ain't. I have known. Somebody came on Sri Ramakrishna's birthday at the center. All people are looking toward the photograph. A man came crying, tears falling, and with a wrapper wrapped around. Then he prostrated where they leave their shoes. As he got up, along with the net, all the shoes he carried inside. Then going away, people chased him. He collected shoes, even though not a pair, he knows some pairs he will get. This is. Wherever there is good thing, there are difficult. That is the idea being maintained. I remember on Sri Ramakrishna's birthday, I was given a duty when I was a junior monk. So hundreds of people are coming and saluting. A woman with a little son came, saluting and making the son roll on the dust of the feet of the devotees, which is a common practice. One man snatched the necklace from a woman's neck and swallowed. Think of that. Now he cannot hide if you swallow inside. He was arrested, brought. With X-ray it was found the necklace in the stomach. They gave him laxative. This is the example I saw. But the worship in the sacred shrine of Atman is free from all this. Communion with Atman bestows upon the soul immortality and eternal bliss. The Mahabharata describes Atman as the real and sacred river, bathing in which the soul becomes free from all sins. The river of Atman is filled with the water of the self-control. Truth is its current, righteous conduct is its banks, and compassion is its waves. Bhishma, the great hero of the Kurukshetra war, told the Pandavas dying on a bed of arrows, O sons of Pandu, bathe in its sacred water. Ordinary water does not purify the inmost soul. That was his last message. Shankaracharya, in the hymn, realizing the Kashi within, Benaras within, the cessation of all mental activity, the supreme peace, that is the holiest of holy places of pilgrimage. The Manikarnika, in me, the ever-flowing stream of knowledge, is the pure primeval Ganges. I am Kasika, or the form of pure consciousness or self. The Paramatman, one, existence, knowledge, bliss, upon which is superimposed this magic of creation, and in which the universe, moving and unmoving objects, shines as a sportive creation of the mind. I am that Kasika in the form of pure consciousness, whose sway extends over the 5 kosas, miles, where buddhi, intellect, is Bhavani, Divine Mother, with her abode in every human body, where all-pervading inner self, the witness, is Shiva. I am that Kasika of the form of pure consciousness of the self. In Kasi indeed shines the effulgent one. Kasi, the self, is the bringer of everything in the universe. He who has known that Kasi has indeed attained Kasi or salvation. The body is the Kasi Khetra. The all-encompassing knowledge is the Ganges, the mother of the 3 worlds. Our devotion with faith is Goya. The devout meditation on the feet of the Guru makes the Prayag. The Lord of the universe is the absolute inner self and the witness of everyone's mind. If all these dwell in my own body, what other places of pilgrimage again can there be? Describing the true significance of pilgrimage, Swami Vivekananda says, When the whole world is the form of universe, of the eternal Atman, the God, what is there to wonder that all in the special influences attaining to particular place? There are places where he manifests himself specially, either spontaneously or through the earnest longing of pure souls. And the ordinary man, if he visits those places with eagerness, attains his end easily. Therefore, it may lead to the development of the self in time to have recourse to holy places. But know for certain that there is no great tirtha, holy place, than the body of man. Nowhere else is the Atman so manifest there. So manifest. The car of Jagannath that you see is but a concrete symbol of the corporeal car. The great holy pilgrimage in Puri, Jagannath's car festival. You have to behold the Atman in this car of the body. Have not you read? Know the Atman to be seated in the chariot? All the gods worship that Vamana, Supreme Self, in the diminutive form. Atman has been described dwarf, Angusthamatra, inside the heart, a steady flame of smokeless fire. So that is a verse. Rathetu Vamanam Drishta Punarjanma Navidyate. Sitting in the chariot, one who sees the Vamana, he becomes freed from the cycles of birth and death and pain and pleasure. Actually, Vamana is seated inside the interior of the body. The sight of the Atman is the real vision of Jagannath. And the statement, seeing Vamana on the car or chariot, one is no more subject to rebirth, means that if you can visualize the Atman, which is within you, and disregarding, you are always identifying yourself with the curious mass of matter, the body of yours. If you can see that, there is no more rebirth for you. If the sight of the Jagannath's image on a wooden framework confers liberation to people, then millions of, 10 millions of millions of people would be liberated every year, especially with such a facility of communication by railways. Millions of people go. Somehow the chariot is being dragged by a big, thick rope from one place to the other. On the chariot, the figure of Jagannath. If all people by simply go and chariot, touch, then India would be depopulated by now. But it is not happening. Rather, it is happening opposite. How to make a pilgrimage? What should be the advisable? First, in making pilgrimage, a pilgrim's mind must visit the place first. Mind must go there first. Sri Ramakrishna's father went on a pilgrimage for 1 year, alone. By thinking of the place, your mind already goes there. Think of that. Nowadays, improved means of communication, your mind does not go. Body arrives in 15 to 16 hours. Mind still hanging around in New York City, doing shopping. By the time mind arrives, your date of return has come. You are back here. Mind has gone there. That is another thing happening. You can go to Kailash, Manasarovar, Himalayas in a car. This is. You came to the Sunday service to hear pilgrimage, but mind is making pilgrimage at home. Still. So therefore, don't go to a place of pilgrimage unless you learn to travel by mind first. The pilgrim must be solitary. Never go to a pilgrimage accompanied by other people. Completely solitary, imbued with spiritual longing. Don't carry luggages. Oh, if the weather changes, maybe I'll need a sweater. If the weather is hot, I need a t-shirt. This is sets of clothes. Don't go to pilgrimage. Well, I went to see India, see my home folks. Oh, I will go to, it is near Puri, Jagannath. I should visit. Make it a sub-visit place. If you go from here, you go to that place. Not with anything. Solitary. Keep silent. Don't go there. Look around, chat. And spiritual longing. If you do not have that longing, don't go. Wait until that longing comes. Third, the pilgrim must be humble and anonymous. I go with credentials. No. You are going to the presiding spirit. Introduction. You should be anonymous, completely unknown. Sit in the back bench. Do not go, declare your identity. Fourth, the journey to a place of pilgrimage should be prayerful, reflective, and meditative. Fifth, the pilgrim should be alone, without cameras, tape recorders, notebook. The pilgrim's mind should be his camera. His ears should be his tape recorder. His eyes should take picture. The pilgrim must have a mystical vision, not with ordinary eyes, and relive the past events of the pilgrimage. What happened there? You transport yourself. The aftertaste of a pilgrimage is a fact that decides the spiritual usefulness of the pilgrimage. What you brought home, what you feel. If you do not feel, I went, this person did this person did the, I made the head of the, temple. Those are all useless things. God also will think that, well, he did not come to see me. He came as a social visitor. The aftertaste in any matter, You go to a temple, hear a discourse, what is the aftertaste? If you hear a beautiful music, its refrain goes on after you come home, again and again. In the same way, the aftertaste will tell you. Second is the holy company. Holy company is vital. The grace of a holy person is one of the three prerequisites of self-knowledge. Manussattam, mumuksattam, and Mahapurusha Sangsraya. Did not say God's grace. First, you must have a human body, because in a human body, the pull from two sides is expedient. Pull from inner, above, and pull from below. Pull from below in the path of evolution, all the subhuman propensities, they continue. They drag the soul down. And pull from above or inside is from pull from above. That is why human being only can attain salvation or self-knowledge. Subhuman beings not possible. Eating, sleeping, and gross pleasures, that takes away the time. There is no time further to make search for above. Angels, devas, they are too good to be bad. Both the subhuman and superhuman are the result of the human state, what you did. You become an angel in the next birth, or you become an animal in the next birth. Bhishma in the Mahabharata tells Pandavas, by worshipping a holy man who is worshipped in the sacred shrine of Atman, the seeker obtains results of pilgrimage. A visit to a holy man bestows merit because they may be regarded as moving holy places. The Lord dwelling in their hearts renders holy place holy where they live. Only by seeing a holy person can one have true faith in God. Not by visiting a temple, not by visiting an image, but a person who believes and lives that idea. Unless you have seen such a person, contact, you really, theoretically, you cannot have faith in God. Nobody has seen God. All scriptures and books, they only speculate. A light can be lit from another light, not by argument, study of scriptures, pilgrimage, rituals, or ceremonies. External temples are faint imitations of that holy man who is a true temple. The Uddhava Gita says that even God loves company of the holy. But does holy company help? Reasons why desired results of the holy company do not happen are the following. Lack of proper attitude. You may see and live with a holy man, for 100 years. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. If you live in the same apartment, nothing will happen. Because true holy men, we are no outward mark. As the fish does not leave footprint in the water, a bird flying in the sky does not leave footmark. A true knower of self remains mingled with the masses, hard to recognize. But we think we made a holy company. He gave me prasad. If a holy man does not give prasad, well, what is the holy company? He wrote certain things on my forehead. This is our idea of holy company. So, there also, if not the person, then why a holy company will give you blessings? Unless it is proper attitude. He knows what you need. Otherwise, we go talk, meet a person, but we don't ask, or we don't have proper attitude. So therefore the result becomes meaningless. You know, some cases you may want to do something, but you don't feel like. So is the holy man. If he does not feel like, you do not get. Second, not recognizing holy persons. See, the holy man does not wear any outward mark. I told you once I received a telephone call from California about 20 years ago. I was standing near the telephone and it was ringing. Generally, I do not receive, others take care. A man calling. I said, you were in California, Los Angeles, do you visit our temple there? He said, I visited. Have you read these books or things? Are you familiar with these teachings? He said, I have read everything. I do not need to go to the temple again and visit. I am calling, sir. Do you know a knower of God in New York City? I said, well, New York City? Everybody is knower of God. I said, I am also looking for. Problem is, they cannot be recognized. Then I said, I should tell him. I said, you told me that you finished reading Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita. You finished visiting the place. You could not find. What little you have read and what little you have visited that you want to do. A man who is really looking for a person, he does not talk this way. He becomes silent. I thought he will be angry. After that, he will write me a very angry letter. After 7 days, a letter came from the same person with a $500 contribution. He said, Swami, nobody ever told me. Wherever I go, they want to please me. They feel by telling right thing, they will lose me. This is the situation. Another letter, he said he studied Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, Bible, and he thinks he's a knower of God, attained Brahman. Then he wrote, what shall I do now? I said, that's a very good question. So this is lack of attitude of service and humility. Holy company means, Bhagavad Gita says, Pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. 3 things. First, to recognize the holy man. He will hide. A holy man came to a village. One person was troubled by 100 things. Out of compassion and his humility, he plucked a piece of hair from his head, gave him, that it will be over. The news spread during that night. In the morning, thousands of people came and began to pluck his hair from the head. He became bald. And the man left that village next day. So if you do like this, you will be in trouble. So pranipatena, literal meaning saluting. Pranoto, pranipat, pariprasno, inquiring with humility. Why shall I tell you? This is. Somebody asked, for how many reasons you became a monk? Person said, as many hairs on my head, that many reasons. Is that the question of holy person? Prasno, pariprasno. Sevaya, service. Commentator in the Bhagavad Gita says, something personal service. You have to get into the skin of the holy man to evoke his compassion. Otherwise, fine, come and go, it is good. Fourth, necessary evolution of the soul. Evolution of the soul means God hunger has come. If a holy man does not see that hunger, he will talk with you about weather, New York City's political condition, all these things. He will not talk the real thing. Lack of devotion. Lack of dispassion. 6. There are marks of a holy person. A holy person is one who inspires others to holiness. By being near such a person, a seeker is unconsciously lifted up. One of the marks of a holy person is that he is a siddha. Siddha means like japa siddha, dhyana siddha, jnana siddha. By meeting a person, you will feel that God is not a concept, but real. The person enjoys bliss of God. Then you will know there is something the world cannot give. Japa siddha means sitting near him, you will feel like repeating God's name. The world would be forgotten. Your world, your attachments, your family, your so-called relatives, your mind will go toward God. Dhyana siddha means sitting near him in silence. You'll feel something different. Some of the siddhis would be there. True credential of a holy person is not his occult power, poses, postures, powers and positions, popularity and social status, but the holiness of renunciation, life of an exemplar of spirituality. Otherwise, go to a place, he is holding a high position, not only necessary. We have seen. Holding not a position, but you go see. I have seen half a dozen. Sitting in a chair, one of them was renowned disciple of Holy Mother. Seeing him, at least about 20 became sadhus in our order. I used to visit him every summer when I was a brahmachari. After taking bath, sitting with a wet towel on his head. People will go to afraid near his presence. He is not saying anything, but his eyes are like X-ray. Various center heads used to send their new recruits to him. And how he thinks. He will survive or he will leave. I never saw him going to the shrine. In a small village, used to stay. Most of the time he lived in the Uttarkasi, Rishikesh alone. In that center, I never saw behind one Swami. Always there is a entourage of 20-25 from different centers. And Swami is going for a walk, all going, including when he is going to urinate, we are standing behind him. Conversation going on. So at 6 o'clock when the Arati will start, Swami will go for a walk. because the man who used to sing Arati, he was out of tune, and his Swami said that let us go for a walk until he finishes the singing. Thakur also goes for a walk when he starts singing. This is. Once he asked him that, do you have the mala which mother gave you? He said, no, I lost. He said, mala is for keeping the track of the number. I said, Swami, I never saw you going to the shrine upstairs in a separate building. He said, do you know, in the shrine, in the altar, there are 3 persons sitting there, as we have here. They have no job. I told them, I will do my repetition, you keep track of the number. So I gave them a job to do. A living flame of knowledge. Another, whom Holy Mother with her own hand gave Gerua cloth. He was not holding any position. Probably he would not like to do. You will see the appearance luminous. You read hello of the picture, you would have seen that. You go to him, he has nothing to talk. Oh, mother said this, you should drink this much water, you should not do this thing, you should do this thing, nothing. When he will go, he was not president, president was much junior. When he will go, president will stand up. He was not a person, most whole life he spent in solitary life. Until you see such a person, you won't be able to comprehend what happens when a person becomes illumined. The earlier Swami, when he will walk, always there are 15 or 20 ochre-clad moving, an occasional burst of laughter. Somebody said, Swami, is it good to laugh so much? He said, what do you mean? I gave up my home, my father and mother, my desire for worldly possession. I came here so that I can laugh a little. If I cannot do that, then what this place is for? That was his answer. One of the most important tests of a holy person is taste of bliss. By tasting the bliss of the divine, a person attains to divinity, rises above the world of senses, and attains the power, redeeming and transforming. 2 kinds of power. Company of such a holy person is possible through the grace of God. When the soul becomes restless, one gets the company of the holy and becomes purified of sins and impurities. And earnest souls get that opportunity. The scriptures mention what kind of earnestness and longing for God will bring all these things. Mahabharata says, King Parikshit meets with Sukadeva. Sukadeva was illumined before birth. His conversations gave to the word of Bhagavatam several volumes. King Parikshit was the grandson of the Pandavas. Pandavas, after the war, they went to the Himalayas to die while practicing penance. Both Pandavas and Kauravas. Why that slaughter happened under their reign? When such a thing happened, the king also is responsible. And they said they must die by practicing penance, walking in the Himalayas. Many of them died by forest fire. Many of them died by sheer exhaustion. King Yudhishthira was leading them. One after the other began to drop dead. When Arjuna died, others asked, Sir, why he died? He said he was too proud of his prowess, valor. When Draupadi, queen, died, dropped dead, Yudhishthira said, although she was the wife of the 5 brothers, but she was partial toward Arjuna. When Bhima, who had the strength of 10,000 elephants, he dropped dead. Yudhishthira said he was glutton, he used to eat too much. Yudhishthira knew all these things, defect of each. Finally, alone Yudhishthira came to the top of the mountain. A dog was following him from the plains. It is said heavenly chariot came so that Yudhishthira in physical body entered into heaven because of his piety and virtue. But the angel said, this dog cannot go. Dog without self-knowledge cannot attain to heaven. The king said, this dog has followed from the plains. It is the virtue of a Kshatriya, if he takes shelter, he must give shelter. I reject that heaven if this dog cannot go with me. Immediately the scene changed. That angel who came, he was nothing but dharma, embodiment of virtue, tested Yudhishthira. Going back to Parikshit, he was the king after the war, but he was a descendant of the Pandavas. Went on hunting one day, part of the Kshatriya virtue. With his entourage, they got separated. The king was very thirsty. He wanted to drink water. There was nothing. Deep forest. They found a hermit in a small hut, wrapped in contemplation. King approached, asked for water. No answer. 3 times he asked. No answer. King thought this contemplative yogi is ignoring him. He looked around, saw a dead snake with his bow took the dead snake, put around the neck of the contemplative. Went away. Little boy came. He was the son of the contemplative yogi. He saw somebody has insulted his father. Looking toward the heaven, he said, "My father is innocent. Anybody who has, the one who has insulted my father by putting a dead snake in his neck, will die out of snake bite in 7 days." The king at a distance heard that. He began to tremble. Since the blood of the Pandavas was flowing through his veins, he realized the mistake. He came to the kingdom, relinquished his kingdom, went into a deep bank of a river. 7 days of life left. Anybody going by that way begged him to stop for a few days and tell the glories of the Lord. That time the great Sukha, knower of God, revered and loved by the hermits of the forest, was passing by, begged him. Seeing his mind, restlessness, fear, Sukha became pleased, stopped at his hut. Hearing great Sukha stopped, all the thousands of hermits, yogis, holy men, the whole region came there. What Sukha would say? That is called Srimad Bhagavatam, what you read. Parikshit was living on fruits and roots, fasting. On the 7th day, as he ate a fruit, the poisonous snake was inside. As he ate, it bit its tongue, and he died. When the mind becomes ready, you hear the voice of God. You see His presence. You see His presence in a holy person, in a humble person, to an unknown person. Guidelines for holy company. A person must seek holy company without fail. Second, he must pray to God for holy company or for introducing him to a holy person. Third, he must follow the guidelines of the scriptures to recognize a holy man. His company is not just for inquiry, but for enlightenment, with earnestness, devotion. Holy company becomes rewarding when backed up by intense spiritual longing and self-surrender to God. Self-surrender to God is that person who abandons all that he holds near, dear, and precious, abandons all considerations of security, status, honor, pride of possession. In fact, every kind of worldly value for the sake of God, and finds self-fulfillment in the contemplation on and service of Him. A devotee seeks nothing from God, gives everything that is unto God, ever filled with the sense of Lord's universal command and His all-pervading presence, is free from all fear, worry, jealousy, antagonism, arises from the sense of agency and personal enjoyment, and rests in God in peace. That is called earnestness. Without that, even a part of it, neither pilgrimage nor holy company is of any use from spiritual point of view. Thank you. Om Jananing Saradang Deving Ramakrishna Jagadgurung Pada Padmetayo Sritya Pranavami Muhur Muhur. We bow down to Mother Sarada, the great Master Sri Ramakrishna. We take refuge at their feet and bow down to them over and over again. Om, peace, peace be unto us, peace be unto all living beings. Thank you.